Our next inductee is Bruce Ruggles, and we received an email that came in from Sid Tompkins, who wanted to be here, and we're going to read that right now. Again, I'm recovering from major surgery and unable to attend the celebration of inductees to the North Bay Musician and Entertainers Wall of Recognition, this evening in particular that of Bruce Ruggles. Bruce and I go back to 1960, when Roy Thompson, who owned CFCH Radio, bought the local TV station, CKGN-TV. Bruce was chief announcer for radio and I for television. Within a few months, we both were promoted to operations manager and program director of our respective stations. In 1972, radio and television stations were sold. Bruce retired and I went to Canadore College as a teacher. Shortly after, I became Dean of Applied Arts and responsible for radio broadcasting. The radio curriculum had some problems which I wanted to correct. Then it occurred to me that Bruce could be available to share his knowledge and experience to the benefit of the students. Bruce said he would be happy to join the staff. Bruce remained in that position until his unfortunate passing away. To me, attempting to describe this unusual individual is difficult. He was a consummate professional. His appearance, which the students loved, consisted of suits of many colors, red, green, yellow. The students adored Bruce. His contribution to the radio broadcasting program was endless. The program flourished under his influence. Bruce and his wife, Shirley, were my great friends. Again, I wish I were here tonight. May I offer a toast? If you have a glass, on behalf of Sid Tompkins, to Bruce Ruggles. Bruce was born in July 13, 1929, came to North Bay in 1955 from Southern Ontario and joined the staff at CFCH Radio. At one time, his nasally cheerful voice was the most familiar sound on North Bay Radio, and his active mind and imagination charted the course of what local listeners and viewers heard and saw on CFCH Radio and television for many years. An extremely talented editor, Bruce also scripted and recorded a number of documentaries combining music, news clips, research, and voice into yearly histories and items such as the Kennedy assassination. His passion for the theater of the mind led him to collect old-time radio programs such as The Shadow, Boston Blackie, Suspense, Lux Radio Theater, and Jack Benny, eventually turning his collection into a series of programs called The Golden Age of Radio, which he syndicated to stations across the country. Bruce produced and hosted a number of the live TV series, including a game show called Charades. He also invented Christmas in July, a concept which is still promoted every year on July 25th in many markets to this day. From 1979 until his death from lung cancer in June of 1992, Bruce taught in the radio and broadcasting department of Canadore College. In addition to organizing the music library, he tried to instill in his students the desire to learn about the history of radio in order to better understand what it has become. Just months before his passing, Bruce Ruggles received Canadore's rarely presented recognition award for support staff. When he asked, "Why me?" radio chairperson Don O'Neill simply replied, "Because you're you." Accepting on behalf of Bruce Ruggles, his son Randy Ruggles.
Well, thank you very much. I know my dad would be very honored to receive this award, and I'm sincerely proud and honored to accept it on his behalf. First, I'd like to thank Dean Belanger for taking the time away from his 17 children to moderate this event tonight. And I'd like to thank Don Brose and the rest of the nominating committee for recognizing my father for this award. I originally planned to tell a funny story or two from his old radio days on CFCH, but I realized that it's not polite to tell stories like that in mixed company. So instead, I'll just keep it short and simple, like me, and say this. My father came to North Bay in 1955 from Southern Ontario. It was supposed to be a brief layover. He never intended to stay here. But he fell in love with a beautiful city and an even more beautiful lady, and for that, there are 4 children who are eternally grateful. Bruce Ruggles passed away in 1992, almost exactly 21 years ago. If he were alive today, he would turn 84 in July. Creative people always feel very privileged and appreciative when their talents are acknowledged, but it makes it all that much more meaningful and special that he is being honored publicly by his peers in this way. I can tell you with certainty that my dad would have been very moved to receive this honor, and it is on his behalf that I say a very warm and heartfelt thank you.
Our next inductee is Carl Smith.